All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Good afternoon. I wanted to do the podcast later today. So I wanted to see what the Orioles rotation was going to be, and I wanted to see what the lineup was. So now that that's out, I'm going to give you guys my preview, my thoughts on the Mariners. But I just want to spend a couple minutes. This is not a defensive jack. It's just how gambling works. So I figured spend a couple minutes in case anybody didn't see the Timberwolves Nuggets game, which I don't blame you unless you're betting on that game. Staying up late to watch that. Game's over basically 19 points at halftime. Yeah, just a non-competitive game, another waste of an NBA game. But anyway, Jack had the over, was it 29 and a half or 30 and a half, depending on where he got it for Anthony Edwards, his total points. And he's got 27 with 9.5 minutes left. And the logic was, if the Timberwolves are either going to win, it's kind of a 50-50 game. Um, it could go either way. It's a 2 point spread. It's been a back and forth series. So if he's got 27 points with 9 minutes left, that feels like you're cashing it, unless the team's up by 40, because that's really the only way they take out the superstars in the NBA is they have to be up by like so many points. Because if not, there's always runs. They're up by literally 40 points in a game six. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, so Edwards comes out and that bet doesn't cash. And it's just one of those things that obviously it sucks, but I wanted to spend a second on these 50-50 games. And the reason I use that term 50-50 so much is because when I first got into the industry, there's a gentleman that he was a really nice guy. And he explained to me that in sales, if you are selling sports betting picks, anybody can sell a blowout. When a game wins, if you give out a game and it easily wins, anybody can ask for money the next day. But can you sell a 50-50 game? And he explained to me that most games go either way. They're 50-50 games, and the client, the audience, the customer, whatever term you want to use, they're not sophisticated enough to understand how much luck's involved. So if you're selling a 50-50 game, that's how you know you're a good salesman. And anyway, so I use that term to say most of the bets that you place are 50-50 bets. If you're on the right side of more 50-50 bets, all you are is just lucky at the moment. And that can obviously change, that can fluctuate. I always say the better your karma, probably the better your luck when it comes to sports betting. But it's when you're, on the absolute right side of the game or the absolute wrong side of the game where you do deserve the criticism or the praise. And that's what I'm going to be pointing out, especially during football season, because I want to go through, when I recap all these games, I want to make sure I highlight, hey, if you got that game right, that really, it's just part of the luck, and that is going to fluctuate. So anyway, that was just bad luck yesterday for Jack. Obviously, he was wrong about the Nuggets, and he won his hockey bet. So 1-2 for him. See what he has. I know he's actually at the PGA Championship this weekend. He must have a lot of rich golf friends. I don't know. We'll have to ask him. But all right, let's get to the Mariners. Mariners and the Orioles. Man, this Mariners team, they built their franchise in a way that I just really truly respect. Scott Service, their manager, has been there since 2016. They built it on pitching. Their starting pitching is just loaded. Their bullpen is solid. They actually added Austin Voth, who's having a great year. He used to be on the Orioles past couple of seasons. Their closer, Munoz, hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's fantastic. The Mariners are solid all the way up and down. Their best player, Julio Rodriguez, hasn't gotten off to a great start, but he's on the level of Gunnar when people were going into the season. So they have a ton of talent, a ton of supporting cast, but I feel like we're catching them at a pretty good time for two reasons. One of their best players, JP Crawford's not going to make it this weekend. So that's a huge advantage for us. And then secondly, they're starting a long East Coast road trip. So they flew out, they're getting adjusted to the time. It's always, you lose when, you come to the East Coast, it speeds up 3 hours. So I just think there's some advantages, especially going into Friday night. We'll see. But yeah, Means is pitching. And it's interesting. So the Orioles made the decision to go with Means and then Kramer tomorrow and Burns and basically keep those three guys on what would be, excuse me, and Irvin would have been the guy to start tonight. So Irvin was on his typical rest. It would have been Irvin's spot, but he is not getting the start. So one of two things. Either he'll start, they'll just kind of push him back a few days, and he'll start Monday or Tuesday, or I would assume Tuesday if he's going to start because Bradish will start on Monday. Or Grayson comes back on Tuesday and they move Irvin to the bullpen, which then requires them to make a move, whether it's, I don't know who, I don't even want to speculate at the moment because I don't know all the options off the top of my head. I got to go back and look through because they really don't want to lose any of these guys. So tough decisions to be made. But as far as tonight's concerned, they're going to go with Means. And Means, man, last start really, it was weird because I felt like he's facing the Diamondbacks and I was all over him. Pitched great the first couple of innings, no threats at all. Then he got bailed out with a long fly ball that just went foul. I'm like, all right, perfect. And then he just proceeded to give up long fly balls at left field for the next, felt like 3 or 4 batters in a row. And that turned into a loss for Means. I got a good feeling. He's been great against the Mariners in his career. Um, awesome numbers. It's actually who he threw his no hitter against, which really was a perfect game, except Pedro Severino dropped the ball. And anyway, but yeah, so it means has dominated the Mariners. I have good feeling tonight. He'll be on his P's and Q's, so I'm going to be all over John Means again. I'm most likely going to be on him until the line is corrected because the over under for his outs is 17 and a half. And I expect him to be able to go 7 innings. So that's 6 innings is the win there. I really feel good about that. And we'll see. Kramer and Burns tomorrow and Sunday. We'll see. I want to see what the Mariners lineup looks like tonight and actually watch them because I haven't, seen them play. Just looking at the numbers, the offense has been terrible. It's been really interesting to see. They're kind of like a poor man's Orioles team where they rely on the long ball. They're 4th in home runs, but besides that, everything else is just bad. They're really not hitting the ball at all. So we'll see what kind of bats they have tonight. But with the time difference, first game of the long road trip, Means pitching, I'm going to ride with Means. And as far as the lineup's concerned, before I do the lineup, let's do Bryce Miller, the pitcher for the Mariners tonight. Bryce Miller is, man, he is solid. He is really, they're high on him. He has been, I think he made his debut May 2nd last year, so it's been about a full year for him. Faced the Orioles twice. What'd he go? 4 1/3 the first time. We got 6 hits off of him, 3 earned runs, and then 5 2/3 the second time, but we still got 5 hits off of him. He throws the ball hard. He's got a lot of upside, but he's not quite there yet. And we did hit him great the first 2 times. So I'm not super scared of him. The Mariners, their rotation is awesome. But I don't think Bryce Miller is, it's not one of those situations where I don't see us not hitting the ball tonight. The struggle with the Orioles and getting into their lineup is they're not, it's not a secret if you've been watching them. The situational hitting is just god awful. And I was trying to figure out like what's going on because it's not that they're not trying to, get the runs in, and I don't think they're worried about their stats. I don't think that's it. I don't think there's selfishness. I think it's a product of trying too hard. Like, just take the out, take the ground ball to second base, take the fly ball, whatever's needed to get that run in there. We don't need the big inning. Even if it's there for us and it's a possibility, it's more important in certain situations to just make sure you get the run in. So the situational hitting is what's preventing a lot of these games from going over. The last game, I said it's not like sour grapes, but I should at least be 4-1. I mean, they got to get the runs in. Like they have all these guys on base. So it's just been frustrating thinking about all the runs that they've left, just on the table here. So I expect that to change. I think the off day yesterday and being able to reset, having the win, having the momentum of like getting away with really a game that they deserve to win and then finding a way to win is like, all right, we got to play better. We have to hit the ball more situationally, move the runners, get the guys in, play with a lead. Especially, it's early in the season still, and you got to think about the bullpen and starting pitchers just pitch better. It's just natural when you got the lead. So hopefully that's the case tonight. The guys I'm looking at, O'Hearn still at -130. When they keep him at 1.5, I'm telling you, it's hard to stay away from it. He has so many quality at bats. And Bryce, the way he pitches, it matches up great with O'Hearn. So I like O'Hearn again tonight. They have him in right field because Santander is DHing. And somebody is like, why do they keep putting O'Hearn in the outfield if he's not that great out there? And the reality is in case of an injury, in case of a long extra inning game in October, and we're in the playoffs, and O'Hearn has to play left field or right field in Camden Yards, he wants to at least have some familiarity. So it's not the worst thing in the world to have him out there for a game or two. So I like him tonight. Westberg has been fantastic. They bump him all the way down to seventh. I want to just spend a second because I like Westberg tonight. I think he's going to be great for over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Westberg is the ultimate team guy, where he goes from leadoff, hits the home run. Oh, that sounds great. Maybe I get to bat first again. Maybe not first. Maybe Gunnar will take that spot. Maybe I get second. That's probably still Adley. I guess maybe I can go third, fourth, fifth, seventh. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. He'll probably have 3 hits again tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if 2, 3 years from now, Westberg's your starting left fielder. Just knowing how great of a ball player he is. If Norby and Mayo, and especially if one of them is like unbelievable and they just has to come up and play and has to play third base, and Jackson has to play second base, and Gunnar has to play short, Mountcastle and O'Hearn over there, they'll just ask Westberg to play left field. He'll just take Austin Hayes' spot. That's just how it just strikes me as that type of ball player. And not to say that playing left field's easy, but when you can play every other, play second, play third, I'm sure he can play short if he needs to. Hell, I know he can play short if he needs to. So playing left field probably wouldn't be too much of a challenge. Westberg's awesome. I feel good about the Orioles tonight. I'll speak it into existence. Want to win on Friday night. Want to get this winning streak going. So Knicks Pacers is the NBA. Again, if you're betting on the NBA, just God bless you. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. Just at least watch the game before it starts, or pick a player. Hopefully you get lucky, because Knicks could lose by 50 tonight, and it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know what the mentality is. I don't know. Something's got to change. They can't play 7-game series. It's hard to watch these games. I don't know. They got to do something. So, all right, everybody have a good night. Go O's, and I'll see you guys in the morning.